Yeah, hello, 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 hello. How are you all doing, guys? And welcome to another broadcast of Reform. And we had a nice intro, that's why we played it for a bit longer than normal, because we're really proud on this intro. And yeah, today we're going to dive into some very interesting topics again. Well, first off, you probably know already who I am, Paulus. You've seen me in all the spaces. I host most of these or the broadcasts. Very happy that all of you are joining us again. I see that we already have over 100 people that are live listening and watching us, so that's great. And we got a lot of cool stuff for you today. Today, I'm again joined by our big friend Scorpio, but he will not show up just yet because he will only show up in the Reform News Studio, which you have seen last week already. So let's go into the planning of today. It's a pretty straightforward space or broadcast like we always do. We'll do a general market update, talk about what's happening in the space over the last few days. Then we'll dive into an educational section where we are looking into the trading engine, where we will focus and explain a little bit more about the Dow Treasury, the various algorithms within the engine, how these algorithms use the Dow Treasury, and we'll look into arbitrage and rebates. So with that, you will get a full idea of the the revenue streams within Reform and basically the whole picture of what we started 2 weeks ago in the broadcast, explaining to all of you. And let's see, I think with that, oh, and of course we'll end it off with a nice Q&A session. Also for this session, feel free to use the chat. We'll actively read through the chat during this. So whenever we see questions in the chat, we'll try to answer those as well. Obviously, we have questions from our community members, again, which we will answer. So yeah, let's quickly do a change of scenery and move to the Reform News Studio, where Scorpio is waiting patiently for us. all right, guys. Welcome back. Sorry, we changed studios. We got a way bigger office, so we had to walk a little bit further down the block to get here. So it took us a minute longer. But look who is here. It's the one and only Scorpio.
Hey guys, glad to be here again. Happy to attending and discuss all about reform again. So yeah, like I said, Paulus is sometimes a little bit of a slow walker, but we're here.
Hey, I can't help that, it's just so far, But no, we're here. We're here. Of course, we're here. So yeah, let's dive directly into it. Let's look into the news of the last few days. I can only say I'm bullish, but I think we all are. Let's start off with the first one. I changed this almost 4 times a day since I started writing it down because I wanted to say that Bitcoin hit 52K, then Bitcoin hit 53K, then Bitcoin hit 54K, and now we're over $60,000. I mean, it's going so extremely fast. Scorpio, what's your view on this?
Well, you can see the smile on my face, right?
Definitely.
So, I think it says it all. I think this is a milestone for the space again. We're getting towards that all-time high. Everyone is getting bullish. I think even like retail is not even fully here yet, so there's still a lot of growth potential. Yeah, it's accelerating very very fast, as you also said, right? You were first writing down 52K, then 56, and actually now we're already at the 60. So it's accelerating, quite harsh. I do expect this also to, of course, have a sort of recovery because it cannot always go up, so to say. But yeah, mainly due to ETF purchases, it's just setting off all the selling pressure. So I think, it's awesome. Market is going well. Everyone is back. Projects are getting back. The life is getting back into the space, and all the builders that have been building in the bear market are now, coming out of out in the open, so to say, to launch their projects, just as we are with reform.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're already spot on the BTC ETFs because that's one of the other news topics that I saw that I want to dive into as well. But before we do that, I also read that over the last 48 hours, over $200 million got liquidated in short positions. That's just insane. I mean, who's shorting Bitcoin at this time, right?
Yeah, well, you always have people trying to pick the top or pick the bottoms. I myself always prefer, to do it in a sort of granular way. So try to, do it in steps instead of, trying to really find the perfect moment. But yeah, those people that short harsh and try to, time the top, actually also, as you see it right now, got also liquidated quite harsh, which is, of course, not nice for them, but the space in general is growing, and there's a bull market around the corner. So, you should also not short in these kind of market environments.
Yeah, that's I would fully agree with you. And then indeed, what you mentioned already, the Bitcoin ETFs. I saw that the net inflow reached over $6 billion. That's probably the cause of the crazy surge in Bitcoin right now. Have you read anything about it?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, the ETF is a very big topic. We already spoke, of course, about it in the past, broadcasts also. The main thing here is that, there's such low liquidity on the exchanges that only 6 billion, that 6 billion in dollar value actually can, push the price of Bitcoin as hard as it did. Which actually gained I think 100 billion or something in value in terms of market cap. So 6 billion can actually cause a 100 billion increase in market cap, which is quite bizarre, but that's mainly due to lack of liquidity and not enough BTC actually available on the exchanges to be bought. So that creates the demand higher than demand is higher than actually people providing it, so to say, and that causes the surges as you see it today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great explanation indeed. It's insane to see the numbers. I also saw that crypto recaptures its $2 trillion market cap, which I think it hasn't seen in the last 2 years. So that's very, very bullish.
Yeah, it's super bullish. This is the 2 trillion market cap in total. Is of course it's a growing space, right? So the industry is growing. It's getting a bigger chunk within the overall financial markets within the world. and yeah, it will only keep on growing. You know, we all were believers before, but we still are, and I think the institutions and everything are just coming into play. So a lot of liquidity still has to flow over to crypto, and people, I met people like 6 years ago. They said, yeah, we are early, and then as of today, some people say they are late, but trust me, like you've not seen anything yet. I think a lot of alternative coins and tokens still have a lot of potential in it, and even Bitcoin. If those really, like now the ETFs to Bitcoin actually are open, when products are going to be happening in the traditional world with Bitcoin involved with it, if more liquidity from institutions are going to flow to it, it's just going to be a tsunami of liquidity coming in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and I think you're spot on with still being early, right? Like, okay, you probably won't make 1,000x on Bitcoin anymore. You got to be realistic there, but there's enough in the crypto space which can still offer you that opportunity. And if you compare Bitcoin to, what regular investors are investing in, I think you're still very early, because this can still go a heck of a lot higher in the next 10, 20 years, right? So I think you're still pretty early if you're getting in right now.
Yes, for sure.
To dive a little bit into what I saw last week in the news, because we spoke a little bit about MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor last week. And I just saw that as of this week, his unrealized profits, because obviously he's not selling his Bitcoins, are over $5 billion.
Yeah, it's it's a nice number for a company. It's also cool that, of course, he with MicroStrategy is completely reforming. Well, fun word, but he's completely reforming his whole business structure, so to say, all related to Bitcoin. Of course, his full, I think, capital of his company all went into Bitcoin. And yeah, as you say, right, he's now on an unrealized profits of 4 billion. Yeah, that's it's crazy, right? What he was the one that actually was buying in the bear market, and people thought that he was stupid. People made fun of him. He bought the top, so to say. But yeah, look who's laughing right now, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, you see it with most of the buys that these companies do. That even if they buy the all-time high, we're about to cross that already. So everything he ever bought is in a profit very soon. It's probably a very good decision that he made.
It also comes down to that strategy, what I mentioned, right? It's like you don't have to pick the tops, you don't have to pick the bottoms, as long as you just keep consistently buying, something DCAing in and DCAing out. So then your average price will always be better than actually the market price in the end. And as you see it with Michael Saylor, he DCA'd downwards from the top. He bought the top, but he also bought the bottom. And as of now, his average price is just as you can see it from his average price till now, it's 4 billion in profit, which is quite bizarre.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we also looked at the El Salvador buys, right, earlier. That was also very similar, that they bought at the top and at the bottom, but they average very nicely now.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have a lot of cool websites that actually showcase these kind of metrics right now, and even El Salvador, they're also in the profit. So it's cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, then in other news, the CEO of Grayscale was on an interview yesterday or the day before, I think it was already, and he mentioned that a spot Ethereum ETF is just a matter of when and not if. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, as you can see with Bitcoin, right? It was a long time that it got approved. It took a long time. Same is with Ethereum right now. It's in the pipeline. It has been submitted. It will take time for it to be approved. It's an easy statement to make because Bitcoin was already approved. So Ethereum most likely will also be approved in the end. But yeah, when is of course the question, and if that still will be happening this year, I hope so, because that will be a very good catalyst again, also for the alternative cryptocurrencies. But yeah, we'll have to see, right, how that will play out and how that will affect and influence the cryptocurrency space as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last thing that I wrote down, which is not something I do normally, but end on a bearish note, I guess, is that the Europe Central Bank says that the fair value of Bitcoin is still zero, and they even said that it's not the sustainable means for any payments or as an investment. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Then the funny question is, like, they're saying the Bitcoin has zero value, but then you're asking yourself, okay, what value has the euro, right? So they can say whatever they want, but in the end, the Bitcoin has a scarcity and there's like a limited supply for people to buy. It's also, the let's say the value of the Bitcoins are actually within the energy that's put into mining the Bitcoin. So there's also like real value generated from it, as you can also see with gold, where you actually, really need to have the machines and the fuel and everything like that to actually get the gold out of the ground. With Bitcoin, that's the same, but then the electricity. So I think, in general, they're just full of shit, but, that's what they do because, they need to defend themselves against something that they cannot control. And I think that's, that's just interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also interesting, as I mentioned earlier as well, is that in the end, right, like we're now discovering gold, new big gold deposits. We're discovering gold in space, but nobody can ever find more Bitcoins, right? There will only ever be the fixed supply that we have. And I think that's just something a lot of people haven't properly understood yet, or it's not like sunk in for them.
Well, the cool thing is that if you have one of the 21 million Bitcoins, the population of the world only grows. So as of now, I think 6, 7, 8 billion, whatever people are on this planet. So if you have one out of the 21 million, well, you can praise yourselves. You have you have a good you have good security for the future in terms of the scarcity of the overall asset class.
Absolutely, that's also what I think. Okay. Well, that was the last news point of today. So let's move to the Reform Academy. We just have to walk there. So I'll be right back, guys. Just give us a few minutes, and then we'll dive into the educational topic of today.
I will give Paulus some kicks behind his ass to make him speed up.
yeah. We'll be there.
Okay, see you in a bit, guys.
In the classroom.
Yes. Back for some educational content.
Indeed. So let me quickly just dive into what we discussed over the last 2 weeks. I'll give a small summary because I think it's good if everyone understands that a little bit better. And obviously, we'll talk more about this in the future. So over the last 2 weeks, we have discussed how the bonding treasury works of Reform, so that people can buy tokens at a discount to the market value. Furthermore, we have explained how we will be doing market making for designated projects last week. And both the money from the bonding treasury will go towards the DAO treasury, and the profits that we make from the designated market make, basically the tokens that are left over, will also flow towards the DAO treasury. Then we have also explained how the engine has multiple algorithms, of which one is used to perform high frequency trading and liquidity provision. We also explained that the engine will utilize the funds in the DAO treasury to execute high frequency trading and liquidity provision, and that the realized profits made from this high frequency trading will be used to execute buybacks from the public exchanges, increasing obviously the price of reform, lowering the supply that's out there. And then these tokens are put back into the bonding treasury for people to buy them again at a discount. So that's what we have explained so far, right? So how people can get involved through the bonding treasury, how we can support projects with market making, and how those profits all flow towards the DAO treasury, which the engine takes the money from and utilizes that to do high frequency trading and liquidity provision. So today I want to further dive into the trading engine with you guys, because we have said that there's multiple algorithms, but we have never explained the algorithms. And yeah, that's what we want to do today. So Scorpio, maybe you can start by explaining how many algorithms are currently, or there will be utilized by the engine, and please just highlight them so we can dive into them one by one and don't explain them all at the start.
I will already take away all your questions. No,
exactly.
So as of now, we have like 3 core algorithms, of which one is the high frequency trading and liquidity provision. So that liquidity provision is indeed, done on the centralized exchanges. Then we have arbitrage, so which is, okay, I will just go to the third one because otherwise maybe I'm already giving it away.
Exactly.
And the third one is actually designated market making algorithm.
Exactly. All right.
Short answer for the first time. Short answer.
Thank you, because that's good. Because let's just dive into these 3, right? So we've already spoken about it a little bit, but can you just quickly highlight 1-2 sentences maximum? How does the algorithm for high frequency trading and I guess liquidity provision work?
So for the high frequency trading and liquidity provision, we have a very optimized and fast grid strategy, whereby we can trade with spreads as small as 0.0001% on decentralized exchanges. We are bound to, let's say, rate limits on every exchange. It's different. So the engine itself, or let's say the algorithms itself, needs to be optimized for every exchange on its own. So that's always like a hassle, right? And that's, I think, something also in crypto, which is still a very much of a barrier to overcome. But for us, it's now the time to actually get really into this, because the bigger players from the traditional world are not there yet. So on the side of the high frequency trading and liquidity provision, it's very, like I said, optimized grid trading strategies with very tight spreads, with a lot of specifications, actually added to it, to actually have stacked order sizes, but also floating swing size for whenever volatility within the market increases. So a lot of optimization on the side of scalability and speed, and that's all due to, of course, the engine being a very strong infrastructure for us to build from, and actually to let the algorithms operate.
Okay. So very simply said. Oh, I see. I pressed the wrong button. Okay, my character is in front of the desk, like in a real teacher now. But very simply said, what you explained just before is that the algorithm will create a grid, basically buying, selling, on very, very, very tiny differences all the time. And it's highly optimized to make sure it does this always in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also why it's, of course, high frequency. So all the buy cycles are generating realized profits. And in the end, those algorithms are it's actually the algorithm that's been optimized the most for all the centralized exchanges in this case.
And when we say high frequency, what do we mean by that? Like, what's the amount of trades that we're seeing right now already?
Yeah, so I think everyone who is able to get into the testnet is also able to see the trading page. And on the trading page, we're actually live showing the amount of trades that we're making. You can also actually see it on our website. You can actually see the total trades and then see it by different time frames and then over a time span, over a specific time span. But as of yesterday, we actually ignited them fully, and with the capital that was injected over the last 2 weeks, it's like 1.3 million. We actually made, I think, 520,000 trades in one day. So that's quite a lot. We're getting to the benchmark of 1 million. Well, we just need to add some more liquidity, some more tokens, and we will easily actually make it to that 1 million trades. And yeah, on the other side, of course, the volume that has been generated yesterday was only with the 1.3 million. We generated actually an amount of 5 million in volume. So that's 3 times the amount that we actually have in capital in our inventory, so to say. So yeah, nice milestone, and I think for everyone to be very bullish on, because everything is working how it should work. And you can actually see it within the testnet dashboard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's incredible if you see with the relatively small capital that's in there right now, how many trades are already being done. Yeah, I can't wait to see this when the DAO treasury is filled to the top with funds.
Yeah, and that's
going to
also,
be
of
interesting.
course, yeah, of course, that's also the goal, right? So the bigger the liquidity actually becomes within the DAO treasury, the more leverage we will have towards the centralized exchanges. We actually provide liquidity on all of those platforms. And then, yeah, you will just become sort of a market leader over all these exchanges, because you're just providing so much liquidity from your DAO treasury and making sure that, yeah, the space and actually everyone within crypto can buy and sell. And then, the goal is to be always on the other side of the order book, so to say, whereby we provide people with liquidity and they can actually get liquidity from Reform DAO. And all of you are involved with that, especially since you're part of the community and of what we want to build. And of course, the token holders, the future token holders, will all also be part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, we diverted a little bit from the question, but I think it was in a good way, because it's very interesting. But I wanted to dive into the next algorithm, and that's the algorithm that we use for designated market making, because it's quite similar, no?
The designated market making can also be done with the same algorithm, because it's simply providing liquidity within the exchanges in a very fast way, and the order book is filled. But the most important difference is actually that with designated market making, you really need to make sure that your inventory will never run out. So how I mean that is actually that, okay, if we would deploy the first strategy, the high frequency trading and liquidity provision, it's trading within a grid. So within that grid, it makes a lot of buy cycles, and that's all the realized profits what it takes. But if it jumps out of the grid after an increase of $10,000 on Bitcoin or whatsoever, or a decrease or whatsoever, then you're actually either sold all your tokens or you bought in the amount that you want to buy. So that gives a way, let's say, your inventory scales out or scales in. But on the designated market making side of things, there you actually need your inventory to be optimized to be forever sustaining the liquidity of a specific project. Because you said, okay, we're going to do market making for you for, let's say, half a year or 2 years. And then, you need to be able to suffice for the market making with your inventory, even if the price of that specific token goes completely through the roof, right? So yeah, that's always a challenge to make sure that that's optimized, but you have specific algorithms for that optimize the inventory management of your optimize your inventory management so that you can keep sufficing for the market making for that specific project.
Yeah. Okay. And is that automated by the algorithm? The optimization of the
Yeah. So, the first algorithm is automated, the second algorithm is automated. It's all, working sort of, it's automatic. Everything is working by the software, by the machines. It's just a super strong infrastructure in itself. Of course, the algorithms itself can be deployed with different variables, and that's then being done by traders. So they are actually, putting the certain parameters in. But still, the execution on the exchange itself, it's all done by the engine itself, the holy almighty engine.
Yeah, the livelihood of reform. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we dive into the third algorithm, which is the algorithm that is doing the arbitrage trading, can you explain what arbitrage is and how reform will use it?
Yeah, for sure. So, an important part to market making, sufficing for liquidity, but also market stability and market equitability is a very important point. There is the price differences within the different exchanges. So, as I just said, right, we have integrations with multiple exchanges, but in the end, there could be price differences on every exchange. So what you want is to optimize your algorithm in such a way that you can actually use those price differences on the exchanges. So if it's in one exchange, it's $1, and on the other one, it's $2. It's a very broad example, but then you can actually make use of the price differences and actually balance your inventory on one exchange and on the other exchange, and then actually benefit from that whenever the price goes out of balance again. So you're constantly, again, taking some profits out of the market by making the prices equal. We do that actually by a very specific method because normally with arbitrage, they actually look at one, let's say, main exchange where they fetch the price from. What we do is actually we fetch the prices from all the different exchanges, check the liquidity on all those exchanges, and actually create a price ourselves where we think the price is realistic, and then we will actually make the price of the exchanges based on our own generated price, so to say. So we don't use one single exchange as a base. No, we use our own price as a base because we see that that is going to be the mean price of that specific asset and the realistic value, so to say.
Wow, that's a lot, but that's a very, very interesting. So my next question was, how does that algorithm works? But I guess you already explained it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I already spoiled it, as always.
But that's okay. That's okay. I guess that was a clear explanation, and I love that these things are recorded so people can listen back to it because it might be quite a bit to fathom in one go. But it's very interesting to hear about it and to learn about it, and that's of course what we're here to do in the Reform Academy. I keep calling it the Reform Academy, but it's not actually the Reform Academy that we are going to launch very soon. But this is just our Reform classroom. Let's put it that way. So let's recap a little bit. We have the bonding treasury, which flows money to the Dow treasury. We have the profits made from the market making for designated projects, which flows to the Dow treasury. And we have the profits from arbitrage, which also flow to the Dow treasury. Then we have the high frequency trading and liquidity provision algorithm, which is utilizing all the funds in the Dow treasury, creating the realized profits. And those are used to buy back reform tokens.
Exactly.
Which is very interesting because buying back reform tokens will put them in the bonding, which means they will be sent to the Dow treasury again, which means we can do more arbitrage, which means we get more profit into the Dow treasury again, which means we do more high frequency trading, which gets more buybacks, more bonding treasuries, more. It's a circular economy, right? And it's just everlasting, and it's so interesting if you think about it because it's the amount of funds that are put into the Dow treasury are actually never taken out. It's just the profits that are made from the high frequency trading which are taken out. So that Dow treasury is growing day in, day out. And I think that's just once you fathom how big that can become and how much volume that can create, that's just insane.
That's also the thing, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but that's also the thing, right, with reform, really aiming to become that liquidity providing party / protocol / layer within crypto, and not only on the centralized exchanges at first, but also, of course, aiming for the decentralized exchanges, and even focusing on specific ecosystems that want to work with us. So there's a lot of opportunities, and it's always liquidity is the backbone. It's the backbone of any financial market, because if there's no liquidity, there's not a market. And that's why I think it's so important for us to make the step to actually become that leader inside of the liquidity providing ecosystem for exchanges, for ecosystems, for projects. Really take that lead, so to say, because now, like I said, it's predominantly dominated by the market makers, the centralized market makers. They're doing it for projects, and also centralized the centralized exchanges are also dominated by sort of the centralized entities. And I think this is the first time that actually everyone can benefit from something that's going to be living for the people and driven by the people, and that's just a very cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you say, just thinking about it, that will Reform flourish more in a bullish or a bearish year? Because I can imagine when it's a bull season, there's a lot of liquidity already in the market, because there's a lot of people. So with that in mind, you would say there's more need for additional liquidity in a bear market where there's less people, but then at the same time, more people means more liquidity is needed as well. So how would that work?
Yeah.
Where would Reform fit best?
Yeah, I think it's a good one. Logically, it will flourish more into a bull market, because there's a lot more projects actually launching, and there's more liquidity. Well, there's more people in the space that actually want to buy specific projects. So as a market maker, you're always more profitable within a bull market. But I think especially with the liquidity provision and high frequency trading, also the more volume there is, the more realized profits we can make, because the swings and the volatility within the market is just a lot higher. That gives us more realized profits, so we will perform better. Of course, in the bear market, we will still do the trading. The volumes will be lower, the volatility will be lower, because there's less attention from people. And that also means that you're going to make less realized profits. Of course, they will always offset the discounts that we're making that we're giving away in the bonding treasury. But still, it's still applicable always also to us. Bull market is better than a bear market, but still in the bear market we will also perform. But the bull market is of course a time to shine, but that's for any project, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Of course, that makes sense. But it's great to know that even in a bear market, there is so much need for a product like what Reform is going to be doing, and then especially that liquidity provision. So yeah, that's an interesting foresight as well, because it makes sure even bear markets are survivable.
Exactly, yeah, and even in the bear market for the designated market making, you saw this bear market also, like Optimism, Arbitrum. You saw them launching. Now they're experiencing their first bull run. But even those projects in the bear market, they actually did significantly well, and especially for the market makers that did those projects. So in the end, you just need to fetch the right projects, and you have the right business development and sales to make sure that you get the right projects also in the bear market. So it's a sort of I don't know. It's just how it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, so circling back, because what we do is provide liquidity, and that's because there's a lot of volume that we're driving as well, right? With the designated market making, with high frequency trading, with the arbitrage trading, like all of that creates volume. And now there's one other thing that I want to discuss today, because that's rebates. And very simply said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's just the exchanges rewarding you for the volume you produce.
Exactly, yeah. So exchanges are always very happy when there are parties that actually providing liquidity to the exchange. Of course, they're always also very happy with people taking liquidity from the exchange. But people who want to take liquidity from the exchange need to take it from people who who make it on the exchange, so to say. So if there's no maker, there can also not be a taker. So in that case, they are rewarding the people who actually put maker orders in the order book, provide liquidity, and therefore, especially if you turn around very high volumes, and you can get compensated for that, and you get at first a 0% fees that you pay for the exchange, and then after that you can get into the rebate levels, which could add up to, I think it was 0.1% even, or 0.01%. I need to check it up, but it's quite a significant percentage that you can make based on your volume. So if you would make 100 million volume, I'm just saying something. So we made, let's say, 5 million volume yesterday, right? If we would make 0.01%, yeah, that already gives you like $5,000 or something per day, which is, yeah, quite nice, 500 to 5,000 just for the first calculation. But yeah, it's it's a very nice add-on, so to say. But the more liquidity you have, the more volume you can generate, the more rebates you're going to get. So if you generate 100 million, yeah, well, you can make the calculation. It's going to be significantly more.
Yeah,
And that's just indeed
I
an
believe
incentive from the exchange.
Yeah, exactly. I believe we calculated if we do 100 million in volume, we will be getting $100,000 per day in rebates.
Yeah, that could be the case. Yeah, so,
which is insane if you think about it. And also, if you're making 5 million volume right now with the funds that are in the treasury at this moment, which is like 1 million something, that means when you have 20 million in the treasury, you will probably do that 100 million already. And I believe the algorithms aren't optimized yet. Like this can be, they can drive a lot more volume than they're doing right now.
Yeah, the thing is also we're always expanding, always looking for opportunities. We're actually also now in talks with a party that's actually making an algorithm that can make, it's quite crazy, but they can make $1 billion in volume with only $80,000. So $1 billion volume in a month with only $80,000 in the in the algorithm, so to say. So those kind of things are completely crazy, you might think, but if you get those algorithms implemented, you're going to be the boss. Well, not the boss, but you're going to be like the biggest friend of every exchange, because the volumes is what they're searching for, and the liquidity providing is also what they're searching for. So if you do that, they're going to be your best friend.
That's insane, because that means that if you have $2.4 million for a month, you're doing $1 billion volume a day, which means you're earning $1 million a day in rebates.
Yeah, it's crazy, but the only thing is also with some algorithms, you need to be realistic, right? Because you need to know the limits also of the algorithm, because some algorithms, they're also not scalable. So the 80K, it can maybe be done also with 200K, but if you go to 500K, it will not make a difference. You get what I mean? So algorithms are also dependent on the scalability that's possible within the limits of, an exchange or whatever. Because it's always dependent on multiple factors.
But it's probably not too unrealistic to think that we can do 10 times the volume of the funds that we have in the DAO treasury.
Oh no, that's something that's possible for sure. Like yesterday, like I said, we made 5 million with 1.3, so that's already times 4, which is super nice in my honest opinion. And the more liquidity we will have, the more volume we will generate, and also less optimization. Well, one of the final optimizations of the current algorithm for the high frequency trading and liquidity provision will actually still be integrated, and that will actually cause, let's say, the floating swing size, whereby the spreads of the algorithms will actually will go broader and thinner, so to say, based on the volatility within the market. So that's really really cool and innovative, and that will actually cause even more trading volumes, because it will push the limits.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, that's why I just try to phantom. Like, if it's that relatively easy to do $100 million in volume a day, because you only need 10 million or even less in the DAO treasury, which isn't that far away for getting, that means you're already getting $100,000 per day just purely in rebates. That's if you phantom that's insane if you think about it, because that's daily, and all of the rebates that we make go back into the DAO treasury, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's an enhancer of the liquidity growth within the DAO treasury. So in the end, this will all come down. Yeah, it will come back to the realized profits, because there we do the high frequency trading and liquidity provision, and all the buy cycles here will be used to buyback reform. So, the DAO treasury will be an ever growing, sort of organism. How we will see it, the engine actually. And that will, be very cool to watch how that will grow over time, and how it will actually keep sufficing for liquidity within the space, but also generating the realized profits for the buybacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think I'm going to sell my car and buy more reform tokens.
You should.
Every time we talk about this, I get more and more bullish, and I even work it. It's just incredible if you think about how big this can be and how easy it is to scale it as well. Okay, well, I think that's everything for today in terms of the educational content. So let's dive quickly into the general Q&A with the community. But to do that, we will first have to go to a little different area, which means we have to do a little walk, which means you guys have to hold on for another minute while we go to the next studio. We'll see you in just a second, guys. Just hold on with us for a minute.
Yes.
All right. I was still on mute. My bad. We're here. I hope everyone is still here. As you can see,
back and well.
as we promised last week, we're working on a lot of new cool features for the broadcast every week. A lot of new studios where we're going to discuss all these things with you guys, and we have a lot of fun doing this as well. So yeah, it's looking great. You know, it's every time I'm seeing it, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. We put a lot of effort in it, and it's paying off. So that's very nice.
I'm wishing actually that we also have a studio one time where we are on vacation, like some nice sun and everything, you know, just enjoying life with some cocktails, laying on the beach, all good.
The week after the launch, we'll do a nice vacation,
Yeah, exactly.
vacation space. We'll hang out on the beach. We chat with all the people that went to the moon with us.
Sounds good.
Okay. So let's dive into some of the questions. First one. Well, let me just do the first one, because the first one is the one that everyone has been asking in the chat, that everyone is asking in the Discord, and that's, what is the sixth task of the testnet? Well, as we have already mentioned, quite a lot of people have already finished the sixth task, and we're still not going to explain all the tasks, because we feel that it's still up to you as a community to figure out what you need to do. But rest assured, if we are not seeing a big influx of people getting to the sixth task within the next week or so, we will probably start getting you guys some hints, because we also want you guys to complete it. We see that you're doing all the efforts, and yeah, who is doing the effort should be rewarded. That's how we're standing into this. So, you know, just keep trying. There's yeah, close to 1,000 people who have already completed it. So we know it is definitely possible. We know it's not too hard to find, but we can imagine it might still be hard for people. So yeah, keep trying. And then yeah, we'll dive into the first question. Well, Scorpio, let's do this one, the first one for you, because this is from our good friend King Steve, who actually was our first super loyal and active community member, who is actually hired to be part of the Reform team right now. So congrats to King Steve, obviously. But he asked about HODL Finance, and his question was, and I'm going to read it all because it's quite a bit, but he asked, HODL Finance was rebranded to Reform DAO. I would love to know what HODL Finance was like and what was the reason for rebranding to Reform DAO. And did the team encounter any challenges while building HODL Finance? How did they intend to fix the challenges, if any, with Reform DAO? As a new member, it might not really understand the reasons for the rebranding.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and I think you know, one of the main reasons to actually pivot from HODL Finance DAO to actually, you know, Reform as it is today is due to the fact that, you know, within crypto everything needs to be sort of, well, it needs to be appealing, right? It needs to be cool. It needs to be looking flashy. Of course, we're doing under the hood. We're doing a lot of strong and good and, you know, smart and technical things. But it also needs to be, as you know, I can also see in this broadcast, it also needs to be, you know, appealing to people, and it needs to be a very strong brand in that sense. With the reform, we just found that we thought, okay, it needs to be rebranded to something that gives more power, more strength, to something that we really want to change something within the space. So that's a very important point. Also, with Hodl Finance DAO, we were actually focused more on the side of incubation. So we're actually helping projects to actually launch, to go towards the market. We noticed that, you know, there was not always the same motivation within the projects that actually were going to launch an NFT or a crypto project. And that actually, in the end, it ended up to be our problem, so to say. Not per se our problem, but more like our, you know, we had to put a lot of efforts and resources towards it. So, you know, that gave us an you know, thing that we thought, okay, this is not something that we're envisioning, because we cannot do what we like ourselves. We're just doing the things that other people want, and even they're not putting effort to it. So I think, you know, that's a very good lesson for us, and I think for everyone, you know, take it for what it is. But it's just very important to always do what you envision yourself, and not do what others, you know, want you to do, so to say. So I think in that sense, you know, that made us switch from Hodl Finance DAO, whereby we were very much focused on the incubation side, to actually Reform DAO, where we're now going to be super much focused on market making. It's also the integration of course, our engine, the liquidity providing and high frequency trading engine, whereby the main focus is now going to be liquidity providing and designated market making for projects, whereby we're involved within the financial side of things, where we are really, really good at, because core contributors experience ranges from fund management to algorithmic trading software to venture capitals to business development and sales to, you know, a lot of important things to actually need to get this off the ground. And this is also how I think it now feels comfortable to get this in, you know, the market to all of you guys, and also to get all of you guys involved, as with King Steve, of course, who now is actually a contributor of Reform DAO. And also from my side, congrats for that, Steve. But you know, that's just how it is and how we want to grow as a DAO, with more and more people becoming a contributor to the DAO. And contributing to the overall goal, whereby we want to reform the market making industry with our robust and scalable infrastructure that we have built over the last period of time, and also with our very cool brand that is now in place.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all of the answers that Steve was looking for. So thanks for that, Scorpio. I'm just gonna kick back quickly to the chat, because I see some people still talking about the testnet and the task and why we are not revealing it. Well, we've said that before, right, guys? We don't want to ask you to come to our testnet, test it out, and reward you just for being there. No, we actually want you to put in the effort, grow as a community, and then test it all out. Try everything, also the things that don't have anything to do with the tasks, because that way we can really see how an organic environment works, and that's best for us to test it. And that's why we don't just simply tell you, hey guys, go here, do this, here's some money, actually, there you go, free airdrop. Because that wouldn't make sense, right? It needs to be a mutual effort. But as I already mentioned just before, guys, if we see that people keep being stuck, we will absolutely help them and provide more tips and more details on what they need to be doing. However, I think there's a lot of people in the community that have completed all of the testnet. There's a lot of people that have shared what to do, how to do it. There's tutorials. Even in our Discord, community members are sharing the details and all the info. So just be an active community member, and I'm sure within no time you're capable of finishing the testnet. Then Scorpio, next question: will Binance Labs be one of the investors of Reform? Well, we get this question probably every week, and I think the answer is the same as the last answers that we gave on this.
It's you know, it's a recurring question, and you know, like I said, in the background, we're always building on getting the best and most reliant partners on board. So hang on tight. We will disclose it in due time. Like I said, you know, we have a very strong. We have a lot of strong connections, so to say. So those will also be, you know, ignited, and we will make sure that Reform gets what it deserves. And with that, hang on tight for the right announcements.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one, which is more of a tech question, is how does the bonding treasury enable individuals to purchase Reform at a discount compared to the active market rates? And then I guess the question is asked from a tech perspective, like how do you actually make sure what the market rate is and how do you get a discount on that?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. We do that through oracles. So we fetch the price first from Uniswap. So there we will actually read out with an oracle the price over there, and then bound it to our bonding treasury. The more centralized exchange listings will come, the stronger actually our price becomes. So more robust, because there's different parts where they can fetch the price from and create, like I said, an average price that's going to be reflected to the bonding treasury. So yeah, I think to the point answer is going to be the possibility to buy it on the market price is actually because of the price oracle that's been created, and then actually people can buy it against a discount. The discount is all being done through smart contracts because it reads out the price. Then the smart contract actually implements the discount that you're choosing from, because you can lock for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And then you actually get the discount appropriate on the price that the market actually showed. And then you're able to buy the discounted Reform tokens, and you're in the staking treasury and getting your rewards.
Yeah, because that was also the next question. Will there be staking opportunities after the TGE? And yes.
There will be. But I think I think a very important point there is the staking opportunity is of course for the Reform token. So there's a logarithmically decreasing supply that will be given out to the community for them staking. The longer people actually lock, the higher their staking weight. So in the beginning, they will be given out more rewards, and later less rewards, but with a higher price. But the most important part also there is that we're also going to provide people with the possibility to also benefit from the projects that we're going to do market making for, and actually try to leverage with those projects that they at least put some allocation aside from the total supply towards the Reform community, because they all are going to shield this project to the moon, of course, and help them with launching properly from beginning till the end. We ride it all together because we're all together involved from Reform perspective, from project perspective, and also from the token holder perspective. So that's just a very cool one that's also going to be in the works whenever the designated market making is going to start.
Yeah. All right. Then there are. We did that. Let me just have a look. There was a question about the Reform Academy. What would we be learning there, and would it still be continue after the TGE? Well, what you will be learning is everything about Reform. So basically everything we discuss in the educational parts of these spaces, we will highlight there again. We'll deep dive into it. We'll give more explanation. We have videos on it. We have one pages, infographics, really, giving you all the details about what Reform is, how everything works. And it will absolutely continue after the TGE. It's something that we're building along the way. And the more things that we add to what we're doing as a company, the more things we will add into the academy, because we're really busy already with all the airdrops and with everything that's going on, and we're preparing for the TGE. But something that we haven't really touched base on, for example, is that everyone who's eligible for the airdrop will also be eligible for a raffle ticket for the NFT collections. And that's coming after the TGE, and those will have insane benefits as well. We'll dive more into that at a later stage, but there's so much more that is going to come after the TGE, and so much more that will be in it for the Reform community and for the people that are holders, for the members of our community, that there's definitely a good reason for you guys to stick around and stay active and loyal to what Reform is doing, because we're really building it up for you guys and to do this all together. And we really appreciate you all being here. So I think that was it for today. I have one more little sneak peek, or like an announcement for the people that were listening. But Scorpio, I want to thank you first before I announce the big surprise, I guess. So thanks for being here again.
What did you say?
I said I want to thank you first before I do the big announcement of the surprise that we have.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I was just a little bit, I don't know, dreaming.
Yeah. No, all good. I just wanted to thank you for being here always with me and answering all the questions for the educational part, for the community. It's just great, and it's always a lot of fun to do these with you. And then I think the big announcement, which is a big announcement. Yeah, it is a big announcement. It's about tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be announcing, or tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, we'll be announcing one of our first big partnerships. A lot of people have asked for us to disclose more partnerships, and tomorrow will be one of the first ones. We can't say anything yet, but yeah, stay active, stay focused, and make sure you have your notifications on, because tomorrow we'll tell you all about one of our first big partners that we have signed.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here. Thank you again, Scorpio, and stick around for just a few more seconds, or like a minute. We have a very cool outro video. Big shout out to our designers, and yeah, I hope to see you all next week, guys.
Thank you all. Speak next week.